In a dramatic turn of events, Chilufya Tayali has unleashed shocking accusations that could shake Zambia's political foundations. His bombshell confession targets none other than former First Lady Esther Lungu and lawyer Makebi Zulu. Are these just political mind games, or is there a deeper truth? What Tayali has revealed will leave you speechless. Stay with us. In an explosive twist that sent shockwaves across Zambia, Chilufya Tayali, known for his no-holds-barred political rants, has dropped a bombshell. His target, former First Lady Esther Lungu and lawyer Makebi Zulu. What did he reveal? And why are his words igniting panic in high places? This isn't just gossip. This could change everything. Welcome to InspirAfrica Official. Stay with us as we uncover the secrets, connections, and political maneuvers that have been hidden until now. Chilufya Tayali, a controversial figure in Zambian politics, has long been known for his provocative statements and shifting allegiances. His recent public confession, made via a Facebook live stream, has sent shockwaves through Zambia's political sphere, reigniting debates about loyalty, betrayal, and the integrity of the nation's political system. Tayali's admission that he betrayed former President Edgar Lungu to secure leniency in his own legal battles has not only exposed personal motivations, but also highlighted deeper systemic issues in Zambian politics, including the use of legal cases for political leverage and the fragility of political alliances. This moment marks a significant turning point, as Tayali's actions have drawn attention to the intricate web of power, corruption, and survival strategies that define Zambia's political landscape. The confession, described as juicy by observers, has sparked widespread discussion, with many questioning the credibility of political actors and the implications for Zambia's democracy as the 2026 elections approach. Chilufya Tayali is no stranger to drama. A self-proclaimed political commentator, his online rants have both exposed corruption and fueled conspiracies. To some, he's a hero. To others, a loose cannon. But no one expected his latest bombshell, an insider confession involving Zambia's most powerful post-PF figures, Esther Lungu and Makebi Zulu. Chilufya Tayali is a polarizing figure in Zambia, known for his roles as a political commentator, activist, and leader of the Economic and Equity Party, EEP. His career is marked by a series of high-profile controversies, legal battles, and accusations of opportunism. Tayali has oscillated between supporting and criticizing major political figures, including former President Edgar Lungu and current President Hakainde Hichilema, earning him the reputation of a political chameleon. ZambianObserver.com. Background and political journey. Early activism. Tayali first gained prominence as the executive director of the Zambian Voice, a platform he used to comment on governance and corruption. In 2015, he was acquitted of a rape charge, which he claimed was used by state actors to silence his activism. This acquittal emboldened him to continue his critiques of those in power, including Lungu's administration. ZambiaWatchdog.com. Political ambitions. As the leader of the EEP, Tayali has positioned himself as a vocal critic of both the Patriotic Front (PF) and the United Party for National Development (UPND). However, his party lacks significant electoral success or a broad base, leading many to view him as a fringe figure who thrives on controversy rather than substantive policy contributions. ZambianObserver.com. Legal troubles. Tayali's career is littered with legal challenges, including arrests for defamation of the president, both Lungu and Hichilema, inciting mutiny, and other charges. In 2021, he was arrested for defaming Lungu, and in 2022, he faced charges for allegedly inciting security forces to defy Hichilema. These incidents culminated in his flight to Malaysia, where he sought asylum, claiming political persecution by the UPND government. LusakaTimes.com. Diggers, NewsFrontlineZambia.com. Reputation for flip-flopping. Tayali's critics, such as Thandai Uketti's and Goma, describe him as a political parasite who shifts allegiances based on personal survival rather than principle. His recent offer to work as a consultant for the UPND, promising to secure their victory in 2026, is seen as a desperate bid for relevance and a return to Zambia. ZambianObserver.com. Public perception. Tayali is a divisive figure. To some, he is a bold truth-teller exposing the rot in Zambian politics. To others, he is an opportunistic mercenary whose actions undermine democratic principles. His ability to garner attention through social media, particularly Facebook live streams, has kept him in the public eye, despite his lack of a significant political base. Why now? What pushed him over the edge? The confession. Tayali claims he was approached by insiders connected to the Lungu family. His role, allegedly to help craft a public image war against the New Dawn government. In his words, they wanted to use me to clean up the mess, create noise, stir emotions, protect their legacy. He specifically names Esther Lungu, the former First Lady, as the orchestrator, and Makebi Zulu, the family's legal gatekeeper, as the one coordinating legal distractions. Could this explain Makebi's relentless courtroom battles and public statements? Tayali's confession, aired live on Facebook, centers on his admission that he betrayed Edgar Lungu to escape mounting legal pressures. According to Tayali, when faced with multiple lawsuits, he approached the UPND with a deal. He would discredit Lungu, his former ally, in exchange for leniency in his cases. This revelation, made during a confrontational live stream with a figure known as the Chair the Voice of Zambia, has been described as a candid and shocking disclosure of political betrayal. ZambianObserver.com. Details of the confession. Context of legal pressure. Tayali claimed he was drowning drowning in a sea of lawsuits, which likely included defamation charges and allegations of inciting mutiny. These legal battles, he argued, left him with little choice but to seek a deal with the UPND, the ruling party under Hichilema.ZambianObserver.comdiggers.news. Betrayal of Lungu. Tayali admitted to turning against Lungu, whom he had previously supported and encouraged to make a political comeback. He confessed to providing information or making statements to discredit Lungu, effectively selling him like a cheap SIM card to save himself. This betrayal has been framed as a survival tactic, highlighting the precarious position of political actors in Zambia's highly polarized environment. ZambianObserver.com. Public reaction. The confession has sparked outrage and amusement in equal measure. Youth activists and political watchers have criticized Tayali's lack of loyalty, with one quipping, "Do we need an IQ test for politicians? Or maybe a loyalty polygraph?" Others see it as emblematic of Zambia's chameleon-style politics, where personal gain often trumps ideological consistency. ZambianObserver.com. Critical analysis. Tayali's confession raises questions about the integrity of Zambia's political system. The use of legal cases as a tool to pressure political actors into compliance or betrayal suggests a troubling overlap between judicial processes and political vendettas. This aligns with broader concerns about the weaponization of state institutions such as the Drug Enforcement Commission (DEC) and the police against political opponents. Africa-Press, netlusakatimes.com. The confession also underscores Tayali's precarious position as a fugitive in Malaysia. His willingness to publicly admit to betrayal may be a calculated move to negotiate his return to Zambia, possibly by aligning himself with the UPND. However, this risks further alienating him from both PF and UPND supporters, who view him as untrustworthy. Makebi Zulu's involvement. Makebi Zulu has been front and center defending the Lungu family, legally and politically. But Tayali paints a different picture, one of manipulation, legal maneuvering, and calculated distractions. He alleges Makebi is not just a lawyer, he's the firewall. He hides behind the law to protect what the public must never know. Is Makebi shielding Esther from prosecution? Or is he simply doing his job? Makebi Zulu, a prominent Zambian lawyer and spokesperson for the Lungu family, has emerged as a central figure in the controversy surrounding Tayali's confession and the broader dispute over Edgar Lungu's funeral arrangements. Zulu's role is multifaceted, involving legal representation, public advocacy, and alleged involvement in negotiations that have fueled political tensions. Zulu's role in the Lungu family. Legal representation. Makebi Zulu has been a steadfast defender of the Lungu family, particularly Esther Lungu, in their legal battles with the Zambian government. He has represented the family in court cases involving allegations of corruption and money laundering, which the family claims are politically motivated. ZambianObserver.com. Funeral dispute. Following Edgar Lungu's death in South Africa in June 2025, Zulu has been vocal about the family's wishes to honor Lungu's instruction that President Hichilema should not be involved in his funeral. Zulu argued that the family sought a private burial in South Africa to respect Lungu's wishes, accusing the government of attempting to use the funeral for political mileage. BBC.com. NewYorkTimes.com. Alleged deceptions. Reports suggest that Zulu, alongside Esther Lungu, may have misled government negotiators in South Africa regarding the repatriation of Lungu's remains. Former Vice President Enoch Cavendale revealed that regional leaders proposed dropping charges against the Lungu family in exchange for repatriation, but the family pulled out of the agreement at the last minute, leading to accusations of bad faith. ZambianObserver.com. Connection to Tayali. Tayali has publicly criticized Zulu, particularly in relation to Lungu's death certificate and the family's handling of the funeral. In a post on July 7, 2025, Tayali expressed sadness at having to publicize Lungu's death certificate, blaming Zulu and the family for their stubbornness. He disputed claims that Lungu's death was suspicious, confirming the cause as septic shock, multi-organ failure, and esophageal cancer. ZambianObserver.com. Tayali's criticisms of Zulu may stem from their shared history as Lungu's allies. Both have faced legal pressures, and Tayali's confession suggests he believes Zulu's actions have complicated matters for the Lungu family, potentially exacerbating their legal and political challenges. ZambianObserver.com. ZambianObserver.com. Critical analysis. Zulu's involvement highlights the intersection of legal and political strategies in Zambia. As a lawyer, he is tasked with defending the Lungu family's interests, but his public statements often carry political weight, reinforcing narratives of government persecution. This dual role risks blurring the lines between legal advocacy and political activism, a common issue in Zambia's polarized environment. The accusations of deception in negotiations suggest a deeper mistrust between the Lungu family and the Hichilema administration. Zulu's insistence on a private funeral in South Africa may reflect genuine concerns about Lungu's legacy being politicized, but it also fuels speculation about the family's motives, including whether they are avoiding accountability for alleged financial improprieties. The luxury, the secrets. Tayali didn't stop there. He detailed hidden wealth, offshore accounts, and luxury assets linked to the former First family. He alleged secret properties in Lusaka and South Africa, dozens of vehicles registered under obscure company names, and hush money paid to keep staff silent. silent. If these claims are true, they could support previous investigations and possibly open new ones. The phrase, the luxury, the secrets, likely refers to the allegations of wealth accumulation and hidden agendas surrounding Edgar Lungu, his family, and their associates, including Tayali and Zulu. These allegations have been a focal point of public discourse, particularly in light of Tayali's confession and the Lungu family's legal troubles. Allegations of ill-gotten wealth. Lungu family's finances. The Lungu family, particularly Esther Lungu, has faced accusations of amassing significant wealth during Edgar Lungu's presidency, 2015 to 2021. The Zambian Observer and other outlets have reported on properties and funds allegedly looted from state coffers, with Esther and her lawyer, Makebi Zulu, accused of orchestrating schemes to retain these assets to ZambianObserver.com. Esther Lungu's legal battles. Esther has been linked to cases involving abandoned flats and questionable property transactions. In 2022, Tayali himself defended Esther, arguing that the DEC's investigations into her properties lacked substance and were politically motivated. However, his recent confession suggests a shift in stance, possibly to distance himself from the family's legal woes. Africa-Press.net. Tayali's role. Tayali's confession implies he may have knowledge of or involvement in the secrets surrounding Lungu's wealth. His claim of discrediting Lungu for the UPND suggests he may have shared or fabricated information about the family's financial dealings, further complicating their legal position. ZambianObserver.com. The luxury narrative. The Lungu family's lifestyle, including their ability to travel to South Africa as private citizens and their resistance to returning to Zambia, has fueled perceptions of wealth and privilege. Esther Lungu's court affidavit in Pretoria, where she expressed the family's desire to remain in South Africa, cites a hostile political climate, but also underscores their access to resources that allow them to seek refuge abroad. ZambianObserver.com. Public discourse, as reflected in online comments, often portrays the Lungus as living a luxurious life funded by ill-gotten gains. This narrative is amplified by critics who argue that the family's refusal to repatriate Lungu's remains is a tactic to avoid scrutiny over their wealth. ZambianObserver.com. The secrets. The secrets may refer to undisclosed political and financial dealings during Lungu's presidency. Tayali's claim that he knows PF secrets and his offer to work as a UPND consultant suggest he possesses sensitive information that could influence political outcomes. ZambianObserver.com. Speculation about Lungu's death, including rumors of a staged death or the use of another person's body, reflects the secrecy and mistrust surrounding the family's actions. Tayali's publication of Lungu's death certificate was an attempt to quell such rumors, but it also highlighted the opacity of the situation. ZambianObserver.com. Critical analysis. The focus on luxury and secrets feeds into a broader narrative of corruption that has long plagued Zambian politics. While the Lungu family's wealth is a point of contention, the lack of transparent investigations and convictions fuels speculation and undermines public trust in state institutions. Tayali's role in exposing or fabricating these secrets raises ethical questions about his motives. His history of making unsubstantiated claims, such as accusing Hichilema of corruption during privatization, suggests he may be leveraging information for personal gain rather than public interest. LusakaTimes.com. Why Tayali is talking now. So why now? Tayali says he's done being used, that the Lungu family is playing politics while Zambia suffers. I may have been part of the noise machine, but not anymore. I'm done. Some call it courage, others call it revenge. But what's undeniable is that Tayali has disrupted the silence, and someone's panicking. Tayali's decision to break his silence and confess to betraying Lungu is driven by a combination of personal, legal, and political factors. His timing, just over a year before the 2026 elections, suggests a strategic move to reposition himself in Zambia's political landscape. Personal survival. Legal pressures. Tayali's confession explicitly ties his actions to the need to escape a sea of lawsuits. His fugitive status in Malaysia, where he sought asylum after fleeing Zambia in 2022, has left him vulnerable and isolated. By aligning with the UPND, he may hope to secure a deal that allows him to return home without facing immediate imprisonment. ZambianObserver.com. Financial incentives. Critics argue that Tayali's history of begging for relevance suggests he may have been offered financial or political incentives to turn on Lungu. His offer to work as a UPND consultant reinforces this perception, as it implies a transactional approach to his political activities. ZambianObserver.com. Political strategy. Weakening the PF. By discrediting Lungu, Tayali may be aiding the UPND's efforts to undermine the Patriotic Front, which remains a significant opposition force despite Lungu's death. His claim to know PF secrets positions him as a potential asset for the ruling party, particularly as they seek to consolidate power ahead of 2026. ZambianObserver.com. Public relevance. Tayali's confession ensures he remains in the spotlight, a tactic consistent with his career of using social media to generate attention. His live streams and public statements are designed to provoke reactions, keeping him relevant in a crowded political field. ZambianObserver.com. Timing and context. The confession comes at a time of heightened political tension, with the Lungu family's legal battles and the funeral dispute dominating headlines. Tayali's intervention may may be an attempt to capitalize on this moment of national attention, positioning himself as a key player in the unfolding drama. Zambian Observer, combc.com. The proximity to the 2026 elections adds urgency to Tayali's actions. By aligning with the UPND, he may be seeking to secure a role in the ruling party's campaign, leveraging his knowledge of opposition strategies to gain favor. ZambianObserver.com. Critical analysis. Tayali's timing suggests a calculated move to maximize his influence while minimizing personal risk. However, his history of flip-flopping undermines his credibility, and his confession may backfire by alienating both PF and UPND supporters. The public skepticism, as seen in comments calling him a cowardly chicken and a hired spineless dog, reflects the challenges he faces in regaining trust. ZambianObserver.com. The broader context of Zambia's political climate, marked by economic challenges and allegations of government overreach, provides fertile ground for Tayali's provocations. His actions exploit public discontent, but they also risk further polarizing an already divided nation. Implications for Esther Lungu. For former First Lady Esther Lungu, the allegations are damning. She's already under pressure, facing legal scrutiny and public distrust. Tayali's claims could tip the scales from suspicion to prosecution. But will this be enough for authorities to act? Or will politics continue to protect the powerful? Esther Lungu, the former First Lady, is at the center of the controversy, facing significant legal and political scrutiny. Tayali's confession and the broader dispute over Edgar Lungu's funeral have profound implications for her personal and political future. Legal challenges. Corruption allegations. Esther Lungu is implicated in multiple cases involving alleged money laundering and property fraud. The DEC's investigations into properties linked to her, such as flats in Chongwe, have been criticized as politically motivated, but they continue to pose a threat to her freedom. Tayali's confession may exacerbate these challenges by suggesting he has shared incriminating information about the Lungu family's finances. Africa-Press, ZambianObserver.com. Extradition risks. Esther's affidavit in the Pretoria High Court, where she expressed the family's desire to remain in South Africa, indicates an attempt to avoid returning to Zambia, where she faces potential prosecution. However, public sentiment, as reflected in comments urging her to answer criminal charges in the courts of law, suggests she may face pressure to return and face justice. ZambianObserver.com. Political fallout. Family's legacy. The Lungu family's refusal to allow a state funeral in Zambia, coupled with Tayali's betrayal, risks tarnishing Edgar Lungu's legacy. Esther's insistence on a private burial in South Africa, as articulated by Makebi Zulu, is seen by some as an attempt to shield the family from scrutiny, but it has also fueled accusations of defiance and disrespect toward Zambian traditions. BBC.com. NewYorkTimes.com. Public perception. Esther's portrayal as a mother of the nation by supporters like Tayali in 2022 contrasts sharply with current narratives labeling her a crook involved in looting state resources. Tayali's shift from defender to betrayer may further erode public sympathy for her, particularly among those who view the family's wealth as ill-gotten. Africa-Press, ZambianObserver.com. Personal impact. Exile and isolation. Esther's decision to remain in South Africa alongside family members like Tassila, Dalitso, and Chieso suggests a permanent retreat from Zambia's political scene. This move, driven by a hostile political climate, may protect her from immediate legal consequences, but could also isolate her from Zambian society, where she once held significant influence. ZambianObserver.com. Emotional toll. The loss of her husband, combined with ongoing legal battles and public criticism, places Esther in a precarious emotional and social position. Her court statements about Lungu's final wishes indicate a deep personal commitment to honoring his legacy, but this resolve may come at the cost of her own reputation and safety. ZambianObserver.com. Critical analysis. Esther Lungu's situation exemplifies the challenges faced by political families in Zambia, where power transitions often lead to retribution. The allegations against her, while serious, lack conclusive evidence in the public domain, raising questions about the fairness of her treatment. Tayali's confession, by implicating the family in broader political machinations, may intensify scrutiny, but also highlights the selective nature of anti-corruption efforts in Zambia. The decision to remain in South Africa, while strategic, risks portraying the Lungu family as fugitives, undermining their ability to influence Zambian politics. Esther's reliance on Makebi Zulu for legal and public support underscores her vulnerability, as his own controversies may further complicate her position. Conclusion. A country watching. One man's confession has rocked the nation, but what happens next depends on more than public opinion. It depends on truth, courage, and justice. Esther Lungu and Makebi Zulu say nothing publicly for now, but Tayali's words are out there, echoing across Zambia. The nation waits. This is InspirAfrica Official, bringing you the stories others won't. Zambia is at a crossroads, with Tayali's confession and the Lungu family saga exposing deep-seated issues in its political system. The nation is watching as these events unfold, with implications for governance, democracy, and public trust. Political polarization. The feud between the Lungu family and the Hichilema administration, amplified by Tayali's betrayal, underscores Zambia's polarized political landscape. The dispute over Lungu's funeral, described as a presidential feud that even death couldn't end, highlights the personal animosities that drive political decisions, often at the expense of national unity. Tayali's actions, while self-serving, reflect a broader trend of political opportunism where individuals exploit divisions for personal gain. This erodes public confidence in political institutions and fuels cynicism about the motives of leaders and commentators alike. ZambianObserver.com. Democratic implications. The use of legal cases to pressure political actors, as seen in Tayali's confession and the Lungu family's troubles, raises concerns about the rule of law. Critics argue that state institutions, such as the DEC and police, are being weaponized to silence dissent, a practice that undermines Zambia's democratic credentials. Africa-Press, NebluSakatimes.com. The public's reaction, ranging from calls for accountability to demands for unity, reflects a desire for a more principled political discourse. However, the dominance of figures like Tayali, who thrive on chaos, suggests that Zambia's democracy remains vulnerable to manipulation and spectacle. ZambianObserver.com. Looking ahead to 2026. As Zambia approaches the 2026 election, Tayali's confession and the Lungu family's legal battles will shape the political narrative. The UPND's ability to address economic challenges such as electricity and fuel crises will be crucial in countering opposition narratives of persecution. ZambianObserver.com. The Lungu family's decision to remain in South Africa may weaken the PF's position, but it also opens the door for new opposition leaders to emerge. Tayali's offer to work with the UPND could influence opposition dynamics, though his lack of credibility may limit his impact. ZambianObserver.com. A call for reflection. Zambia citizens, as one youth activist noted, are questioning whether chameleon-style politics is killing democracy. The nation is watching not just the drama of Tayali and the Lungus, but also the broader question of what kind of political system they want. The reference to Muhammadu Buhari's final request for forgiveness contrasts sharply with Lungu's alleged pursuit of vengeance, prompting reflection on leadership and legacy. ZambianObserver.com. Ultimately, Zambia's future depends on its ability to move beyond personal vendettas and opportunism toward a political culture grounded in transparency, accountability, and unity. The events surrounding Tayali's confession serve as a stark reminder of the challenges ahead.